to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan. In person this time.
I know. We haven't had an in-person podcast in a long time. Nor have I had an in-person podcast of even somebody else other than Ryan in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while since RJ and Cameron, I guess.
Like
we should probably get them on at some point.
I know, we got to get them back on. Mm-hmm. I did get to go, I was on somebody else's podcast the other day.
You were?
Whose podcast? I was cheating on you.
I
wasn't going to tell you about it.
You fucking whore! You dirty, dirty whore! Can I take a couple of guests? Can I take a couple of shots in the dark?
Yeah, go for it.
Arnold Radio News?
Yeah, that was the one I was on. I was on Arnold Radio News. They sent me an email and they're like, yo, you want to come on? We're going to do an Arnold birthday special. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to come on.
Awesome.
We did it over Google Hangout, so it was different than Skype. It was I had to figure it all out. I was like, oh god, I got like 10 minutes to figure out how this thing works. It'll probably like fuck up on me just like Skype did for all those many years. And it worked kind of well, except for the only downfall is about like halfway into it, we started getting this like weird like echo error. Like I don't think it wasn't on like the recording, but like whenever I talked,
you would hear yourself.
This is the best way I can explain it. It reminded me like in Predator. This even ties into Arnold Radio. You know when the Predator like makes the recordings and then he's listening to him, he's like over there,
yeah,
over there. But the thing was like it kind of made me have to talk like I was Christopher Walken because I had to pause. Well, because if I just start talking like this, I'm like blah 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 blah. In my head, all I hear is like, and then you start going like, am I saying something really fucking stupid because my brain can't even think right now.
I'm sorry, I'm getting all territorial, like fucking Gillinator. Randy Jennings, stay the fuck away! I'm joking, no.
Actually, Randy wasn't on this one, but it was Brandon Crumb. And Brandon had the same problem, too, where it was echoing.
I'm joking, but yeah.
And then there was another guy from another podcast that was on there, too, and he was a real nice guy. I feel bad I don't remember his name right now, or his podcast, but...
Well, that's pretty awesome, man.
And then the only bummer is, like, the singer of Arnold Core was supposed to be on there, too.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I like that opening they have at the beginning of their show.
But what he did is he jumped on the podcast, and you could see he was there, and he listened for a second, and he had the same echoing problem, too, so he's like... He thought it was his internet, so he was like, I don't know if I want to be on there. And then he, like, left.
And I'm just curious, because those guys are usually pretty, like, focused right in on Arnold and all. I mean, they have, like, personality. You can see they're into it, and they'll tell little jokes, but they're pretty focused in on Arnold. Were you, like, the one guy treading off, like, how big do you think Arnold's dick is? You know, are you the one guy doing that kind of shit?
No, I pulled back from, like, the regular, like, let's have, like, Vision snuff films and things like that.
Or fucking like, I bet there's a lead scene where Arnold like just straight up fists the Predator or something like that,
Yeah, there was none of that. But no, we just kind of talked about Arnold birthday things, talked about Terminator, talked about what the hell else we talked about?
I feel bad. I think Brandon Crumb hit because he manages. Is it Brandon Crumb or is it Randy?
The Gillinator?
The Gillinator or Randy Jennings who has the Arnold Radio Twitter account.
The Arnold Radio Twitter account, that's the Gillinator, and then the Arnold the Arnold fans is Randy.
Okay, I was just like I felt bad because he said like, oh, you're beating up. Glad you liked it, but it's not like you're beating up pretty hard on Terminator 5. I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. Usually I'm just like, I don't give a shit, but it's another podcast, and somebody who's a friend of ours. I'm just like, oh well, shit. Now I feel like an asshole.
But no, so it was kind of cool. Like I kind of chimed in here and there. Like, I didn't chime in, like, a ton just for the echo thing. It's like, as I was just... Whenever I talked, it made it sound... I'm like, am I saying, like, good things here? Or am I kind of, like... Or is my language just all messed up? Because it's, like, it was so weird just hearing that echo coming over. But other than that, though, go out, check that out. I think it's episode 31 or 30. I can't remember. It was also their 1-year anniversary, too. It just happened to end up on that date.
Oh, congratulations.
Which means that I think we're on our 3-year anniversary.
Wait.
Did that already happen?
Shit. It may have already... We just
well, technically, hey, this right here could be our 3-year anniversary podcast because that's right around. Because what's Dark Knight?
July 20th, I believe. Because Dark Knight was July 18th, and all those movies were always one day later from the previous ones for a while. And I want to say, I just noticed this kind of shit. Inception, I think, was July 19th, and I think Dark Knight Rises possibly July 20th or 21st.
So yeah, so this right here technically could be our 3-year anniversary podcast.
Yay!
Which goes to show that we got a podcast that's older than a lot of other people's podcasts by this point.
Yeah.
Because podcasts are kind of like in that infancy where like there's not a whole lot of people that have, other than like big celebrities that like Kevin Smith and Nerdist and things like that. Mm-hmm. a lot of ones, people, I just kind of, you watch other people's podcasts and so on, and you see, like, they go, and a lot of people kind of peter out after about a year.
Yeah.
They try it, maybe they're just not getting, like, the likes, and then it gets hard to get together, because, like, at least the one thing about me and you is we get together, like, every week. And if we don't get together every week, we make 2 of them, like, the next week.
Yeah, exactly.
We make up for that loss. And I see this with trying to get together with other people. When we try to get a third person on, sometimes it's hard to get them. And so I could see if somebody had a podcast where you could never get, like, another person on, except for maybe once a month or something like that, how you might start to fade away.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. I was pretty sad when, like, Two Average Dicks stopped, because they were one of my favorite podcasts, and they went up to, like, episode 104.
Yeah.
Before that's more than a year. That's, like, I think 2 years for them, maybe, or a year and a half, maybe. And then they went away, and then...
Well, see, I always looked at Two Average Dicks because they started, like, the same time we did. Like, we were only about... I mean, I think we were just ahead in podcasts, because when we first started podcasting, we just started, like... we started doing a bunch of episodes at once, just to, like, make our numbers seem higher. We'd do, like, 2 or 3 a week. So, but other than that, though, I want to say, I mean, we were pretty close. Like, in a month span, we were right along with them.
Listen to the episode where we suck our own dicks for the first 20 minutes.
I like this. It was like, I went from, it's Arnold Radio News' 1-year anniversary, but guess whose bigger anniversary it is? Okay, but going back, like, Arnold Radio News, 1-year anniversary. I think it's episode 30 or 31 is what's going to be. It's going to be about Arnold Schwarzenegger's birthday. Go check it out. It's a really sweet podcast if you like anything Arnold. It's all Arnold.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because, like, after we stopped the podcast, for some reason, once you stop the podcast, the echoing went away.
Of course.
And we talked for, like, an hour, like, on just a bunch of other movies and whatnot, too. But it's like, of course, when the echoing went away. And then I felt like I was fine. Like, when the echoing wasn't there, I was more comfortable talking now because I was like, I don't have this weird echo. Because when you have that echo, all you do is you sit back and you're like, I hope I'm not saying a bunch of, like, nonsense or something stupid or, like
stuttering on your words and all that.
Yeah, because it just kept echoing.
Like I do frequently. Yeah.
So that's why I started talking like I was Christopher Walken.
They're gonna be
his ass.
They're gonna be disappointed when they're like, you know what? I like that Christopher Walken guy. I'm gonna check out their show, and just to find out, he's like dicks, and he's not doing the Christopher Walken voice.
Yeah, put a dick up his ass for 3 years. that was your father. You want to know whose ass it was? It was mine.
Just saying, something you should know about your old man back in Nam, When we ran out of hookers, he looked at me, and he said, hey, what you doing?
Fuckface, get over here.
I'm going inside you, whether you want to or not.
Because this is the real story of the deer hunter and why I turned out like a complete psychopath playing Russian roulette at the end.
I never thought of the possibility of
Pulp Fiction and Deer Hunter crossing over.
Yeah, I never really thought of Deer Hunter being... Well, first off, when you watch Deer Hunter, because I've always used to seeing Christopher Walken old. So seeing like, oh my god, that's young Christopher Walken. This is tripping me out, And I just never thought of the possibility of like, oh wait, what if he faked his death or something, or they thought the bullet killed him, and they body swapped, and he was just brain damaged for years. He had amnesia, came back later, or something like that.
It could be, and he stored a watch up his ass for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And the watch saved him. Like that was what for that
watch? It added I don't know biology. Yeah, somehow it saved him. Someone shot him in the ass, deflected off something else. This turned into a very gay episode.
Yeah, let's just stop that right there.
Yeah.
Well, going into something kind of cool. There was a movie that came out, maybe a week or two ago or something like that, and I just picked it up and watched it. And it was the Kiss meets Scooby Doo, or Scooby Doo meets Kiss movie.
You actually spent money on that?
I did. I saw that. I'm like, Scooby Doo, Kiss. I like both of those a lot. I got to see this.
Okay.
And it was one of those ones because I watched that last one. It came up like the WWE one, and that was a good one.
The Scooby Doo one, not the Flintstones one.
Nah, that's the one. The Flintstones one looks like a little too much, and there's another trailer in here that I think's a little too much. I'll explain that to you later. But the Scooby Doo and Kiss, it's like, okay, I really like Scooby Doo, really like Kiss. This one should be pretty good. I like the WWE one. It did have that thing where it's like, hey kids, WWE's cool.
I can see that.
Which now I'm kind of like, at the moment I'm in this kind of like protest of the WWE because that whole Hulk Hogan thing. I'm like, dude,
is it because they're getting him for like some like racial slur he said a few years ago or something?
Yeah, like 8 years ago, he just kind of said something. And this is the thing, is like, you don't know, was he joking? Was he just kind of saying it? And once again, it's 8 years ago. But I think I just keep seeing more and more topics. This is why I'm almost like trying to avoid the news. But all you gotta do is hear it once, where it's just like everything is just becoming so offensive to people in the U.S. And it's just one of those ones like, okay, so he might have said the N-word a couple times in a conversation. But, it's one of those ones like, are you going to ban his entire legacy of... You wouldn't even have the WWE if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. I mean, probably it would have been somebody else. I always like to kind of assume that...
Yeah.
Not like that John Connor thing in Terminator where he's just like, yo, guys.
You're all fucked without me.
If that Terminator goes back in time and kills me, you can just forget this. None of you has the skill to do what I do because I am so cool, so awesome, and like the only one who's going to stop Skynet.
He's like walking up to like one of them, like, "What you got, huh? What you got? Fuck you!" Like puffs his chest out. He's like biting his lower lip, giving like the Leo look from Wolf of Wall Street, like,
it just starts pounding his chest. Because like the second time I watched that Terminator movie, I just like was busting up. I could not help because of that. He really gives this speech like yo, I'm the only one. I'm your Jesus, and no matter what happens, nothing's gonna happen without me.
You can't stop the JC.
Who's that poster up on the wall? It's John Connor.
There's actually literally like a post. There's like literally like they're like an old church. There is like a statue of Jesus on the cross, but they just like put a picture of his face over Jesus.
Me. It's just they're like in this church. There's just all these murals. There's like him and like Arnold from like Terminator 2, like hugging each other, giving thumbs up. Like all these like
the thumb up from like the fire from like the molting like metal like.
Just like, you built that temple for me, not you, and definitely not you. Why not me? Because you're a fucking idiot. I'm John Connor.
It's like one of those things, well, he technically rebuilt it for him because he ordered us at gunpoint when we were children. So.
But going back to Hulk Hogan, though, once again, and I still have my Hulk Hogan picture on the wall, autographed, held up high. It's even, technically, it's above
Did you
Arnold.
meet him in person?
No, I wish I did.
Okay.
Did you just ruin my story of that autograph picture?
Okay, sorry.
No, but still, it's one of those ones like, I gotta meet Lou Ferrigno. That's like the other
Could have lied.
That's the other Hulk.
You could have lied about it.
I could, but why lie?
Yeah.
That's the whole point we're trying to get here in America. You don't lie about these things. You just accept them for what they are, and you accept people for what they do. But it's just that thing. It's like, okay, if he said that, what the WWE did is they said they pulled all his stuff off the WWE network. They almost just try to like erase him from time. And it's sort of, it goes to like those other things. It's like the Confederate flag. It's almost like they want to erase it from time. Like it doesn't exist anymore. Like the Dukes of Hazzard never existed. Let's take it off all the big store shelves and so on. I went on Amazon just to look, and I was like, dude, they literally, you can't even buy the season sets on there. You can buy them from used.
Dukes of Hazzard?
You can't buy a Dukes of Hazzard season set.
That seems kind of dumb. Like I'm against the Confederate flag. Don't get me wrong, but it just seems kind of dumb. Just to, I mean, I don't think it has no business being hung up in a political building or government ran building. No, or any schools has no business being there. But I mean, it's a movie and it's a TV show, and I understand that flag does bring back bad memories. But it was something. It came from a different time, and I think it's one of those things. Like I'm not gonna. I mean. I don't know. I totally understand how people get rubbed the wrong way when they see the flag, but at the same time, it's like, I think that if they stop making it or whatever, if they stop making current Dukes of Hazzard stuff, I understand that. But to the level of like erasing it as if like the series never happened, that right there.
Well, I even like the making new stuff. I think that's still wrong. Because I think it's one of the ones like, okay, I'll say this. It is a flag. It is a piece of cloth that happens to have a drawing on it. It technically means nothing by itself. The flag didn't show up to your house and try to like hang you, and it didn't start burning crosses in front of your house. The flag did nothing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just all I'm saying. Is like it's the people, and these people are dying off. Technically now they're coming back because now they're like, rise from your grave. Like the KKK has plans to like they're like we have
they
invested.
Got the Necronomicon.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that though, it's that thing. It's just like it's a flag. It's not a person. It's not somebody who did a horrible act and stuff like this. And it goes with like the Hulk Hogan thing. It's just like it's almost like America's becoming too wussy. It's like somebody says the wrong word once. And it's just like, oh, ban him, get him out of here. We don't want these people around here. These people are going to be affecting our children. Like, it's all this horrible stuff happens. And they just kind of get to
I bet it all comes in cycles, I bet. Because it seems that way that everything like this happens in cycles. Because we're at this point where we're afraid to step on anybody's toes or we're all walking on eggshells. I can see it, people are eventually going to get very fed up with it, and there's going to be several pieces of art that really try to step out and really try to, say, fuck that, be very anti-establishment and say, we're all being too fucking soft, and then it's going to rinse, repeat. We're going to reach a point where it's going to be a lot more like people being outspoken, saying whatever the fuck they want, but then coming back to what there was originally, saying, well, we're offending too many people, so we got to step back again. I think it's going to happen kind of in circles like that. I mean, we're always going to progress in one way, but I think that there's always,
Yeah, I just think that we're just at this point where we're just regressing, and I just keep seeing more and more things that are all similar to, like, whether it be the flag, whether it be Hulk Hogan, and all these other events like this, where it's just like, calm the fuck down, people, and don't be such little bitches. Like, just, like, it's, you know what I mean? If somebody's doing actions, if you got somebody like a Hitler who's out there really doing some evil, well, I get that. But when somebody just says something, and we're in America where we should be able to say whatever the heck goddamn hell we want.
Well, I want to say the main thing that started turned all the controversy to the flag again was, like, that asshole who was trying to start a race war at a black church, and he was waving the Confederate flag around in the process, and I think that's what turned all the heads towards the flag.
And once again, I just say it's like, he could be holding any flag, you know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference. Maybe he was holding a Hawaiian flag. Are we going to start, like, turning on Hawaii next, Like, I just look at those things.
I'm not defending the flag by any means, but I think it's kind of dumb for it to be. I'm more just thinking of just like something. It really narrows down to one thing, which is weird. I'm defending because I was never really a huge fan of it, but it just comes, I guess, down to like Dukes of Hazzard.
I think if Dukes of Hazzard was never touched, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. But I think when I heard that, it's just. And I think it's just one of the ones that's just like, what, you're gonna ban? What movies are you gonna ban now? What else can we not watch? Is there certain things that we're not allowed?
I guess it's something to that effect. Would be kind of like banning the outlaw Josie Wales because he's on the Confederacy. At the beginning of the movie.
By that standard, should we ban that? And I think that's what it is. It's like when you see stuff like this, I feel like we're regressing as a nation. Because no matter what, I always feel like if somebody says something, it's like they can say stuff as long as nobody's doing any like actual physical heinous acts. Now this guy that came in there, now that guy's in the wrong, but as I said, he could be carrying any flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could be carrying an American flag for that. And if that's the case, do we ban that too?
No, I think it's just something with history, and it is kind of like something of the past. So I mean, like I said, I have no care for that flag or anything. And it's just when I see that, when I saw like Dukes of Hazzard, I was kind of like, okay, well, it was a different time, and they're in the South, so I get it, whatever. It means something different to them. But still, I mean, it is time to, like, move on. We don't need to have it. If someone wants to have their own Confederate flag, fine, whatever, but I can't believe we're still talking about this shit. But,
I know. The whole point I'm trying to get here is Hulk Hogan. It happens to relate to all this stuff. But where it's just like, okay, it's like that thing of like, yeah, it's just such a wussy move when you do that thing where you're like, well, Hulk Hogan said a word, and he's like, well, we're going to pull all his material now. And I just think it's one of those ones that's like, dude, just... I tell people out there, don't fucking buy the WWE Network. Now, here's the thing. There's like 1,000 other wrestlers that are fantastic, and I feel bad by saying it because just for that. But just to prove a point, don't give the WWE some money for 2 months or so and just say, like, yo, dude, just because somebody says something, that doesn't affect what they did. It's that sort of thing.
Did he just say like the N-word just like in a conversation, or was it a joke, or what was it exactly that he do?
I never heard the recording.
Was he just in a hate rant or whatever?
It wasn't like he was in a hate rant. I think he was just kind of talking, just saying something. Once again, Hulk Hogan, he is from Florida, so you can't like, that it's one of those ones. He's an older guy. I mean, I'm not going to say like that's like a defending thing, but... there is that sort of thing. It's like those type of people. But that, once again, how does that affect what he did as a wrestler? How does it affect his character as Hulk Hogan? Why, why should you pull all his material because of that?
Well, it's something that was known for a while, and now they're trying. And
it's just one of those ones, like...
Now they're acting on it or whatever after years?
It's just one of those things. It's just like... The people do this weird thing where, like, whatever somebody, it's like one of those ones, like, it doesn't seem like he did, like, something horrible. It's not like... He was going around just like beating up black people or something like that, and like that might be a little bit different. I still don't think you should pull his stuff though, but because that's just dumb. It's just that's like a child's move to do, is to go like, oh, he said something bad, but we have to take that away from you now, Billy.
I think that I don't really know enough about. I mean, I literally saw, I think it was you or Laura post something about this on Facebook yesterday. I just skimmed it for a minute. And that's the first I heard about, like, oh, that's happening? Okay. Well, it wasn't really surprising, just given all the stuff. It's like one of those things, like, I guess, this is going back, like, almost a year ago. But, like, for instance, I was already against these guys, but, well, I'm trying to define.
Which guys?
I was gonna say the Duck Dynasty guys. One of them was going up there saying some hate shit, and I have no where I was going with that because I don't even care about those guys. Fuck those guys, and that's one of those things that seems so fucking weird though. Those guys, they're going on this whole anti-gay thing and all this Republican shit,
didn't get that much
and yet
flack.
they got a little bit of flack, but their show's still going on the fucking air.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. It's just such a, I don't know. Things like that just bother me. Just
Probably, you know what? I mean, not trying to be this guy, but it's probably. I mean, not to down Hulk Hogan, but they're probably making more money for that network where they're just going off of what Hogan did in the past, where they could probably still sell like videos or DVDs.
Well, they're pulling it all. Like, apparently at the moment, at least for now, you can't go out and buy brand new Hulk Hogan merchandise.
I bet they're gonna probably release it like in a few more months. Like, he's back. We're sorry.
Yeah, because Vince McMahon might do something like that because he does change his mind. But I just think that act. It's just such a wussy act. It's just one of those ones that's like what a coward would do. And I feel like I'm like this like Republican talking about like a Democrat because when Republicans kind of talk about like, those Democrats out there, they're just a bunch of pussies that can't even handle anything. Like somebody says something wrong, and then they have to pull out I'm sorry, we'll do this. And I hate being on that side because I don't like being on like the conservative side. But that's what it just reminds me of. It reminds me of like that thing where like you're trying to like cower down to somebody else and you're not letting. It's like it's one of those ones. It's like that thing. Like, don't let what somebody does in like make believe world affect whatever they do in the personal world, or vice versa. That's the first thing when people started jumping on Tom Cruise for being like, oh, he's jumping on a couch, he's yelling, I'm not gonna watch his movies anymore, and it's just like, what does that have to do?
Yeah, no, I mean, I still watch Mel Gibson movies every.
And it's one of those ones. It's just like like Mel Gibson, I don't care what he does. He can go run around and get drunk and angry and like yell at people and call them names and. How does that affect his movies? Mm-hmm. How does that affect his movies? Whether or not you like it, or it's like Charlie Sheen, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know enough about Charlie Sheen, I know
Charlie Sheen was more like the wild man, and he just,
I guess there's one. Was it like what was it? I guess the one that I'm totally against, just because. I guess it's so fucked. I guess it's one of those things that it gets down to it. If what they do bothers you so much, you don't want to support them as a person. Mm-hmm. I can understand that. If it bothers you so much, you don't want to support them. Because I was really, now it's been going on for a year now, or almost a year it seems like. But like the whole Bill Cosby thing, all of that, that actually made me really sad because I thought he was always a fantastic role model. He was always really funny, and then to find out that he was like Mr. Rape, Mr. Rapey or whatever. It was just one of those things
even that one, I look at that and I go
you could still enjoy his humor,
I'm not one of those people who's going to take it like personal. It's not like Bill Cosby's like, hey Spencer, you want to come in and just
have this drink? Yeah.
And this is all I have to say for all those like kind of women. It's like this, like what were they doing in the first place? Like obviously if they were kind of partying and hanging out with them, they were sort of asking for it. Like
I'm not gonna say they're asking.
It wasn't like Bill Cosby was like driving across like down the street with like in his rape van, I'm
not saying they're not gonna go and say they're asking for it.
But here's the thing though, it's like if they were taking, what do you expect when you're in those kind of like situations? It's
a lot of them were younger women, and a lot of them didn't really know. A lot of them.
They don't know, but like, come on. When somebody's 15 years old, they know what's going on. Like,
not entirely. You probably
I'm not saying that like what he did's like a good thing or he should be like that. But I'm just saying like, it's different. If he was driving down the street like in like the Bill Cosby rape van, like it would be different. But
it just has a picture of his face. When
people are like hanging out like at his house and they're like partying and all this kind of stuff, it's like you kind of are putting yourself in that situation.
I don't think you are so much because I've gone to plenty of parties before and not gotten raped or not seen other people get raped. So, it's one of those things.
Have you been to Bill Cosby?
But you just said a way where rape may occur.
It's in like the 80s, the 70s and 80s. Okay, 70s and 80s.
Which neither of us were there for.
Exactly, but you know what I mean? Like it's that sort of thing, like that time period where just drugs are just flowing and all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, at
the same time, you're attacking someone when they're. I'm not trying to be like overly sensitive here, but I think you're attacking people at a time when they're very vulnerable. They're like
I'm not saying it's
they're
good.
Just trying. They're just starting off. They want a career, and then he fucks them, and they're like, by the way, if you mention this, I can destroy your whole career. By the way, it's at an age when they're like somewhere between the age of 15 to early 20s, mm-hmm. and that they have to carry that with them, and then on top of that, they don't know where the fuck to go, who the fuck to tell, and meanwhile, this guy's making fucking millions, not really even kind of making paying off his end to the people. He says, oh yeah, I can help you out, just fucks him and leaves. Now it's one of those things like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have been doing drugs or whatever, but in the first place, though, there's too many situations where that happen, and that doesn't make him that, it's kind of hard to be forgiving towards that. I mean, there are some things, like, here's an example, like, Orson Scott Card. I think that, Ender's Game, I never read the book, I saw the movie, I thought the movie was decent, I wasn't amazed by it, but I was able to look past his opinions towards, like, homosexuals and enjoy the story for what it is. But I haven't read any of his other stories.
Because here's the thing, but that's his opinions. And we're in America where we should be able to have whatever opinion we want, as long as if he was out there like, let's lynch all the homos, get in my homo lynch van, and like, now that's different.
It is totally different.
If he's doing a physical act, that's one thing. But if somebody says, I don't like homosexuals, he should be able to say that. That's the whole point of America.
I'm not denying that. But I'm saying it's one of those things, though, you don't have to say, I mean, you don't have to agree with that. He can totally say that. But the thing is, I'm not gonna, that's one of those things like, if you happen to be gay, I don't blame you for not wanting to go see his next movie or read his next book because you don't want to support that.
Yeah, now
now that's going back to the Bill Cosby. Bob Cosby. Bill's like, it
was actually Bob Cosby, my twin brother.
My twin albino brother. Bing Cosby. I was thinking, Bob Crosby and the Wildcats. Never mind. Yeah, it was kind of like Bing Cosby, sort of.
I think Bing Crosby.
I got confused with Bing Cosby, but there was a Bob Crosby that was like I wish I was Bing, but I'm not, so I'm just gonna sing.
Bob.
Yeah. But no, there was a part where so used to talking about movies and actual politics. One part where it
was more like generally it's like, it doesn't bother me until it's something like the Hulk Hogan one, I think, was just like, where it's just like, okay, that and the Dukes of Hazzard thing was just like, okay, now you guys have taken it too far.
Now, what I'm saying right here is trying to erase it from history, yeah, I think that might be going too far. What I'm saying is, if you're so against what this guy does personally, because they might, because I want to say, like, what's his name? Orson Scott Card was handing money off to different, like Christian groups and different kind of like anti-homosexual groups and all that kind of stuff. I can understand why you wouldn't want to support that guy if you know his money's going to a cause you don't want. But I can kind of look, but someone like, I'm going to say like Mel Gibson, I don't think he does do a bunch of, I think he was just a guy who just got drunk one night.
Just said something.
And said some shit.
That's how I feel like Hulk Hogan probably did. He just probably maybe got drunk one night and said some shit.
That's
like, nobody was there except for whoever was talking to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That guy's not mentioned whatsoever in this article.
Yeah. They didn't say he egged them on. Like, what pisses you off most about black people? Well, I don't really want to talk. Well, tell me what pisses you off the most about black people. Just really egging them on. No.
Well, I wanted to know.
That guy's nameless. No, but there was, what was I going to say? It's more like, I understand if someone doesn't want to support them for their personal beliefs, just because if it confines to yours. I'm not saying erase it. I'm not saying...
Yeah, but don't erase it, you know what I mean?
I'm saying, so like, the whole Bob Cosby thing, I'm going to have trouble... Bill Cosby.
Or Bob Cosby's like,
whichever comes first alphabetically. No, but the whole Bill Cosby thing, it's kind of hard taking that, knowing that, looking back at some of these stuff, like, man, he was probably there's probably some girl passed out in the back room of the set right now, but watching like.
Well, I guess the way I look at it, it's just like you think it's like, okay, he's getting all this flack, but how many other actors and musicians and so on did the same thing and are not, getting blamed? And it's not like
it could be one of those things like they did it, they were never caught, or it's just not in the limelight. I'm sure there are examples of people that like did, I mean, look, I like the Rolling Stones enough. I know the Rolling Stones got involved in some shit, so I like them enough to.
I look at it. It's kind of like it's just like people going out to like a bar and just getting hammered, and then bad things going that way. It's just like it's kind of like when things go down
only
like that,
like every day for like 40 years it seemed.
Yeah, but that still happens every day at a bar for however long it's opened.
I know. I'm just saying at the bar. Well, I think that's kind of like too broad right there. What I'm saying right here. God, why are we fighting, Spencer? It's my first time back in 5 months. Why are we fighting?
We're fighting over like who's like idea of like this like I'm not really saying I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's still a bad thing, but I'm just saying it's almost like that Jesus thing where it's like where people are casting stones there and it's like, yo, anybody who doesn't have any sin, be my guest and throw the stone.
Yeah, I know.
And then you just see everybody kind of like, fucking Jesus, ruining another good day of stone throwing.
Yeah.
This is all I got looking forward to. I'm going to go back and kill my lamb now. That's
all I got. If I can't stone a hooker, I guess I'm just going to stone a fucking lamb.
But it is that sort of thing. It's just like you get these people, and it's just like, okay, anybody who never tried to like drug somebody up, and like people, it sounds weird, but like you see that all the time. You know, you ever go to a party and you see that guy's like, yeah, dude, let's get this chick so drunk here, let's put some vodka in her Slurpee. You know?
That's where you try to get that.
That right there is Bill Cosby.
That's Bill Cosby. That guy, I hate that guy at the party. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not saying anything against, but it's that sort of thing. It's just like, we know that person exists all over the place, but for some reason, Bill Cosby is playing. And I think it's because it's like, when you get somebody who's like, I'm Bill Cosby, I'm Mr. Family Guy, and then you kind of get him, like, over here.
Turns out I'm Mr. Rape Guy.
Yeah, it'd be different. Bill Cosby's like, I'm Mr. Bill Douche Guy. Like, if he was like that his whole time, and he was just this guy who's just like, yo, I'm Bill fucking Cosby, and he just stumbles out on stage drinking vodka, like, fuck y'all, and shuts a bottle at him, and then just starts, like, taking his pants down.
He's all like,
and, like, if he was that kind
something in this room, I don't know who, I don't know what, but something in this room is getting fucked!
And then he just turns around, he's just got a dildo hanging out his ass. Oh, it's me! And if he was like that kind of comedian, nobody would probably care. Because they'd be like, oh, well, we saw that coming. But I think since he is Mr. Family Guy, but this is all kind of going the wrong way. The whole point about this...
Hulk Hogan.
Support Hulk Hogan because, once again, think of Jesus and this throwing stones thing. You know what I mean? Think about that. Think about that now. You know, I'm not a religious person, but that thing makes a lot of sense to me, the stone throwing part.
Somebody's like, no, I thought it was all cool, like throwing stones, so Jesus said, don't throw stones.
Yeah, fucking yard duty shows up, tells him.
Jesus the yard duty. Okay, kids, break it up. Has a little sash thing, yard duty.
I'm in charge, because my dad said so.
Come on, kids, give me the gum. Come on, all right.
Spit in my hand.
Yeah. Spits in his hand, throws it, turns into a dove. Whoa! Yeah, that's cool. All right, go back to playing.
She turns out somebody throws a rock at it.
Who did it?
Sorry.
Lucifer, detention, Lucifer.
But moving objects make me throw rocks. But the whole thing is, I think, at the moment, if you can, don't support WWE Network. There's a bunch of other great wrestling out there that's not WWE. We can always buy used DVDs just to prove a point. Go with that.
Okay. And there's the Kiss Scooby Doo.
But going to Kiss Scooby Doo, what I was really trying to get at, that led me into all that good stuff.
That's like, okay. It killed us probably like 30 minutes.
But the Kiss Scooby Doo movie came out. And, yeah, it's kind of like the WWE one where they kind of shoved down, like kind of like, hey, kids, Kiss is cool, right? You know, it really reminds you like Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley got together and said, we need to get, you know, kids back on the Kiss wagon. You know, I mean,
that sounds wrong. Get kids on the Kiss wagon.
Yeah, after that Bill Cosby rape band thing, we got to stop saying Kiss wagon.
You know, like Gene Simmons is like, I don't see what's wrong with him. It's a fantastic idea. It's trademarked. Why? Well, you know, it just sounds
makes money.
Like kids on the Kiss wagon, like, you know what we mean by it. Why are we changing? Why being a bunch of pussies about it? Gene just like, we already trademarked it. We already have the Kiss wagon for kids out on store shelves right now.
It's just like a wagon. It's in every neighborhood. It sells ice cream and fun with Kiss music along with it. But no, like in this movie, like it does do that thing where it's like Scooby Doo and the gang all show up and they're like, we're gonna go see fucking Kiss, all right, and everybody's so into it. Which I can see Scooby and Shaggy being really into Kiss, but then they got like Daphne who's like, oh, I can't wait to get there. Maybe Paul Stanley will take me backstage, you know. And all I can think is that Paul Stanley's like, no, you put that in there. Put that in there now, because it's like he's like a 65-year-old man. Like this Kiss movie took place in the 70s, I get it, but like,
well, they're always like in like. I find like Kiss, they always seems like they're probably still in their like 40s maybe. I know they're in their 60s, but they always seem like they're in their 30s to 40s to me probably, you know? Yeah. And so with the cartoon, maybe it could take place in the 70s.
Well, it almost, excluding about a couple things in there, like, it pretty much you could almost say that, hey, this is Kiss 1979. Because all the songs they're playing, it's all like 70s Kiss. There's no 80s Kiss in there or anything like that. They got all their suits on, which you always kind of feel funny. It's just like, there was like one of those ones where like the Peter Criss character, or, what's his name? The new drummer, but he's dressed up like Peter Criss. Mm-hmm. And he's doing the things like, oh, that's just like when the Love Gun album came out or whatever. It's just like, you weren't there for that.
They make a joke?
No. That was me just watching the movie. It's kind of like, you weren't in Kiss till like the 90s, not the late 90s.
You see Peter Criss, like, I used to be Peter Criss. I used to be the cat.
But whatever. Okay, so Scooby Doo and the gang, they show up to this theme park, which actually starts out kind of cool. Like, because when they show the ghost first, it's Kevin Smith and Jay Muse.
I saw something on Instagram.
Yeah, and they're like just like the technicians or whatever, and then they get scared by the ghost first.
Any Snoochie Boochies or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I think there's a Snooch the Nooch or something like that.
Really? Okay.
Something like that. It's not like Jay and Silent Bob. It's like Kevin Smith.
I'm waiting
and
for
Muse.
Jay and Silent Bob meet Scooby Doo, just so they don't hold back. I'll even see the PG version of that. Why not?
Yeah, well, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But so whatever, they show up there, and it's supposed to be a big concert at Kiss Land. It's like a big theme park. Everything's centered around Kiss. There's a lot. It's funny because they got Doc McGee in there, who's like Kiss's manager, and he was also like Motley Crue's manager and a bunch of other bands too. Which Motley Crue just literally tortured this poor guy. But Doc McGee's got one of the funniest chapters in like the Motley Crue The Dirt book, because he literally talks about, he's like, Motley Crue, when other bands do stuff, they're they do these wild and ridiculous things because like that's what a band does. Motley Crue, they just do it. It's like they don't do it because it's like what a band would do. They just do it because they're Motley Crue. And he just had like all these little stories, like where one time he's like I said Mick Jagger, I mean Mick Mars. He's like, Mick Mars was about to jump out of a 2-story window, and I was like, Mick, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. He's like, and that was just Motley Crue. He's just, why was he going to jump out of it? No fucking reason at all. Tommy Lee was in a bar once. He just ends up turning around, punches somebody in the face, and I'm like, Tommy, why'd you do that? I don't know. There was just all these little funny stories, like they had no reason behind what they did. But like Doc McGee's in there the whole time, and he's always trying to do this like thing where he's like, oh, but you can get the Kiss with like flashlight. Then it pops up on screen like it's like as seen on TV. Buy this now, and he's just always trying to sell stuff. It has like that double thing where it's kind of funny, but then also you can see where it's like there's probably kids out there who are like, I want that Kiss flashlight.
Yeah, it's probably a little self-aware, because I think Kiss by now knows that, like, we're a bunch of whores, but fuck it, we're rich.
So whatever, they go to this thing, and then there's like this kind of like ghost lady or whatever, the mystery you gotta solve.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you're waiting for the episode where they don't have a mystery. They're just like, no, we're just gonna enjoy our time here. And everything panned out.
Yeah, exactly. And so they go through, and then like it goes in the parts where like, okay, we gotta figure out there's this like alternate dimension or whatever. And Kiss, for some reason, they have these powers where it kind of feels like an anime, but what it really looks like is like Sailor Moon.
Really?
Yeah, because they do all those things like they do all their powers like I'm Starman and the Demon and the cat and so on and the Spaceman. But when they do their things, it almost just reminds me like when they go like each of the Sailor Moon changes into like their like outfits or whatever. Not like their outfits change, but they just have these things. Like it almost just looks like that, and they're all colored differently and so on. And then they're like, whatever, they're super, everything's kind of like anime style. I'd say superhero style, but it's more almost anime. That's how it feels.
The animation changes like that?
Yeah, it doesn't really change, but just the way it moves and looks and kind of has like the backgrounds and the stars and the bright lights and all kinds of stuff like that. And each one has a different power, like Gene Simmons breathes fire, like Paul Stanley has like his eyes kind of like Cyclops and has
Does this actually happen in the show, or is this just more of like a vision or something like that? Or
well, here's the thing, because like personally myself, I like Scooby Doo when the monsters are real. I think that's the better Scooby Doo stuff. And then, like, instead of, like, in the 60s, we had the Scooby Doo show where it was always like, oh, and it was Bob the warehouse technician. And he's like, and I would have got away with it, too, if it wasn't for you fucking kids.
Yeah.
Bob, you can't say fuck. Fuck you.
I heard you were a pup named Scooby Doo. Remember that show?
Yep.
That was such a stupid fucking show.
But that's 90s Scooby Doo. Like,
that's 90s, but they would do...
In my personal opinion, I think 80s Scooby Doo was the best, because that was when it was just... Like,
the 13 ghosts, so they actually had to track down.
Everything was real monsters. It was in that time period. It was like they ixnayed like everybody but Scooby and Shaggy. We're like, we know.
It was Daphne. It was Scooby, Shaggy, Daphne, and Scrappy, and then Scooby. I think maybe Scooby's retarded cousin.
Oh yeah, yes, Daphne was in that one.
And the bad guy was voiced by Vincent Price. Or maybe he was. I'm not sure if he was the bad guy. If he's like, well, Scooby and the gang, next time we will meet, or if he was the guy saying like, go capture my 13 ghosts. I wasn't sure. Like,
here's a Pokeball.
Yeah, well, if he was like Zordon, he may have been Zordon or something like that.
That's true. There wasn't very many episodes of that show, though. That show was like a very limited run.
Apparently, it wasn't well received. What's her name?
Andrea Romano?
No, is it Andrea Romano?
From Batman?
Yeah, Andrea Romano. She was on Nerdist. I listened to it, and she mentioned, like, yeah, I did Scooby-Doo for this long, but she's been working voices, like, worked on a very horrible, short-lived series called Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts. Just like, I liked that one.
To me, I was like, I literally think that's, like, the pinnacle is, like, Scooby-Doo, like, as far as the TV show. Like, I like it a lot. And then the thing, too, is, like, in that time period, then you had the Scooby and Shaggy movies where all the monsters were real in it. There was, like, the one where, like, they
Zombie
go to the
Island?
ghoul school. No, that's 90s.
Oh.
That one right there, I think that's the pinnacle of Scooby Doo movies. I think Scooby Doo on Zombie Island is like by far that movie holds up so well. It almost feels like the most adult Scooby Doo one, like because even these last couple ones come out, they feel more kid oriented. That Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, I mean, made for kids, but it also reminds me of like, yo, are you like 20 years old and grew up on Scooby Doo? Well, this thing was going to appeal to you really well too.
And then there's like the Scooby Doo, like the witch one. Yeah,
because a lot of those '90s ones are really good too. And then I think in like the last 10 years or so, because I haven't really watched like Scooby Doo like as on the TV show, but I think they've kind of gone back to the '60s style where it's like they're solving mysteries and the monsters aren't real.
Yeah.
And maybe it's due to like because like the 13 Ghosts, maybe they said, well, this stuff wasn't nearly as popular when it was real monsters, so must have been that when they were not real monsters, it's more popular.
I wonder how long before we get to like Scooby Doo meets Ash.
Like from Pokemon?
No, from like
The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense than what I said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, where like you just have like Scooby Doo and like or like
Necronomicon.
Yeah, or Scooby Doo stuck on Freddy Krueger Island.
Yeah, or something like that. I'm just thinking. I'm imagining a part like. Just like, Bruce Campbell does the voice of Ash, he's tagging along with the Mystery Machine crew,
Well, see, because here's the thing. It's all under Warner Brothers. You could have the Scooby-Doo Freddy Krueger movie.
You could do the Freddy Krueger.
And it's not, some people go like, that's blasphemy to make Freddy Krueger like in a PG movie. I'm like, I could see it, and it would be totally fine, and I would think it'd be a cool thing. Because you know what the thing is like, you just have to make it really creative. You don't have to make it all gory. You can just make, what Freddy Krueger's doing is very creative, and sometimes make it scarier by not using violence. Or like, copious amounts of violence.
There's an episode of Rick and Morty where they're kind of making fun of Inception. It kind of led to like Freddy Krueger stuff. And at some point, they're being chased by like a knockoff version of Freddy Krueger. And he's all like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch! And he's like, where are you, bitch? I'll find you, bitch! And he's just like, he doesn't have a whole lot of different catchphrases, does he? And
it's some prime time, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Then at some point he goes home. He's like, he has like a wife, a kid. He's like, how was work? He says, I don't want to talk about it. Honey, bitch, no, out there, not in here. He's like, I'm sorry. then he goes to bed and they go inside his mind. He's going like to Freddy Krueger school, basically. He's just like, okay. Like the teacher's like, 13-year-old, 18-year-old girl in the shower. You pop up out of the sink faucet. You're gonna kill her. What do you say? Surprise, bitch! Very original. What else you got?
Boy, I think Jason's got a better catch line. Oh wait, he doesn't say anything. Still a better catch line. But going back to Scooby Doo and Kiss, it's kind of funny because everybody in there really likes Kiss, except for Fred. Fred's like the one like...
He seems like he'd be jockey. He seems like...
Yeah, he's just kind of like... There's a part that's just hilarious, but maybe bust up laughing.
Like the Bee Gees. He looks to me like the Bee Gees.
He literally goes like, well, I like this one band. I can't remember what they're called. They're called like the Acers. I don't even know like that. It was like... They had like a weird name. Almost like... I can't remember. But he pops a CD in, and it's just like... It's literally like a barbershop quartet. He's like, this is some good music here. He just starts snapping his fingers to it, like... Almost like he's like a grandpa. And there's even parts, too, where he mentions... He's like, well, Scooby's like, or Shaggy's like, the Kiss concert, it's wild, and you can, run around, everybody's partying. He's like, well, this band's concert, everybody's in a nice orderly line, and and everybody just, lightly taps their feet. Just all the little things about, like, that, it made me laugh. Just
it's a nice orderly line, they tap their feet.
Yeah, like, there's, like, no chaos at all at Fred's concert.
And actually, Fred always seemed more to me kind of like, he always seemed maybe kind of like, he at one point indulged like an old-timey surf rock, not like 70s surf rock.
That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of kind of like totally the conservative guy of the bunch,
Like he seems kind of like the rich trust fund kid, but he was cool.
Yeah.
He was like, if Fred was here today, he would, as if he died or something. If he was here today, he would go to Abercrombie and Finch.
Well, sadly, not speaking of death, though, I think this is probably Frank Welker's last Scooby Doo movie, and Fred, because he plays both Scooby and Fred.
Oh, really?
Because he passed away a month or two ago or so.
Really?
Yeah. And he was the voice still in this one.
He was still the voice? Damn.
So, I know. And he does so many voices, too.
That right there, that is such the diverse range, though. From Scooby to Fred.
Well, for the longest time, I thought it's like...
Scooby and Shaggy.
Yeah, he did that. But then it's like, what's his name from...
Casey...
Not Casey. The guy from SLC Punk.
Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard.
He's been playing Shaggy like in all the animated stuff since he played in the live action movie, which I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Casey Kasem though. Casey, who was the voice of Shaggy, as well as did like
Because he passed away
a year or two ago.
I thought he passed away a little bit longer than that.
It was like a year ago, yeah.
Oh, I thought he passed away like in the 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there.
No, Casey Kasem, he was doing like like America's top 40, I believe, and then got passed on to Ryan Seacrest, and people were like, how the fuck do you make that switch? But yeah, it was Casey Kasem, and then he got too old for it. Then he died like a year ago or so, which really sucked.
That sucks.
He also voiced Robin.
And Batman?
Yeah, and the
Tim Drake?
Hanna Barbera stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Back to Scooby Doo though.
I'm glad we're back to talking about shit that we know about rather than political stuff. This is kind of much more at my speed. I like this shit more.
I do too.
Why are we fighting, Spencer? Why are we fighting my first time back in 4 or 5 months?
I know. It's just the Hulk Hogan thing. It just made me so angry.
Because I agree with you on that, but just somehow it led to getting very
it leads into it leads into related things that are like similar, not exactly, but close. Mm-hmm. But back to Scooby Doo because we all love Scooby Doo. Okay, so they go. Finally, once they figure out where this witch lady, and she's always looking for this rock, which just sounds. She always goes like, "I need rock," which just sounds like I need a rock, or crack rock too. Like she's gonna break it down, and everything in the park's all like there's like this ride's called the Destroyer, and this ride's called Love Gun, or I don't know. Actually, didn't have one like that.
Isn't the Love Gun about a dick?
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't have one of those. I think
it's literally just like you're sitting like on a little like roller coaster cart shaped like a dick.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, they go into this other world, whatever, or this other dimension. It's like Kiss Land world or something like that, and it just kind of turns into like almost like a heavy metal like movie, where you just got this like weird sci-fi space thing going on, and then you got Kiss music playing in the background too, and so on. They're riding this like giant guitar spaceship thing through space.
Do they make any nods to the old like Kiss movie where they're really embarrassed about?
They never do, and I've always wanted to watch that movie, but you can't get it on DVD. There might be able to get it on VHS. I don't know, but it's so hard to find that film.
They just destroyed
We should get that
themselves.
movie and do an audio commentary on it. That's what I keep thinking. Like, if I can find a copy of it, we should, because that'd be sweet. Because I don't think a lot of people have seen it, other than like old Kiss fans. But so they go through this. Well, it's actually kind of reminds me because I've seen like the trailer of that movie and like certain scenes where I just never been able to see the full movie. It reminds me kind of the same thing, but just in a cartoon form, and maybe just with 40 years between it to have like, I guess because I think they just didn't think they were that great of actors in the movie. Mm-hmm. But just the concept alone just sounded awesome. Like, I want to see this.
Weren't they just like people from space trying to?
Well, they're playing the characters themselves. Like, I'm the Starman, I'm the Cat, I'm the Demon. Which
they're fighting crime or something. It was just a superhero movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Which that's kind of like what this thing is. It's like It's not like, oh, there's Gene Simmons there. It's like, oh no, here's the Demon. Like, they refer to them as characters.
Okay.
Which I guess if the Kiss ones are playing like characters, kind of like Captain America or Iron Man or something like that, it makes sense. And I know that's what Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley want. Because I was listening to a podcast with Paul Stanley on it, and he was talking about like how Kiss, he wants them to be passed on, like almost like when they go away, Kiss is still around, but other people put on the makeup and stuff because it's
like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, like
other Scooby Doo guests.
Yeah, another Scooby Doo guest, but almost in the sense like it sort of is like Batman or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it lives on longer. Like that's what they really want Kiss to be.
All right, now this is very random right here, but I was just thinking. What if we get to that point where, like, because I don't know if the Scooby-Doo cartoon is still going on, or they just have the occasional, like, straight-to-DVD movie.
Well, I think on Cartoon Network, because they had the live-action show for a while. I don't know if that's still going on. And they had some other cartoon show for a long time.
I'm thinking, because they had like, the shows, like, this week, it's Scooby-Doo and Sonny and Cher. Or this week, it's Scooby-Doo and Batman and Robin.
The one where it was the hour-long special where they always met somebody?
Yeah, or, like, this week, it's Scooby-Doo and the fat chick from the Mamas and Papas, So, I don't remember her name. But,
Mama...
something. Big Mama or whatever. But no.
Big Mama.
Not the Martin Lawrence one.
Oh yeah, Big Mama's house.
Shit, I'd watch Scooby Doo Goes to Big Mama's House. I'd watch that, and I would have gone away with it too. It wasn't for you meddling kids.
Well, I think that's really what they've kind of started to bring back. Because like, let's see, how many movies have they released so far that are like bringing this back? They had Scooby Doo in the WWE. They had Scooby Doo and Kiss. I want to say there was another one that
Scooby Doo and Ramones coming. Oh, that's Archie. Archie and the Ramones.
Yeah, Archie and the Ramones.
Okay, Scooby Doo and
I'll say this: Scooby Doo and the Ramones would be sweet if there was Ramones left to be in there.
Well, that's gonna that's what they're doing the Archie comic. Archie
like in a comic, it'll work, but it's kind of that's the only kind of bummer. It's like that, but I'd love to see more
Scooby Doo meets Iggy Pop.
Scooby-Doo meets Iggy Pop and David Bowie.
Iggy Pop, even though he's all punk rock, he likes money. Iggy Pop would do it. Iggy Pop,
Well, when you think about Skish and Skish, when you think about Kiss and Scooby-Doo, that one really makes sense because, in a sense, they're both big '70s kind of icons. Even though I know technically Scooby-Doo is 68 for the original show, but it carried on. The Scooby-Doo meets people. That's all the '70s ones. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense for them to finally meet. 40 years later. Which is it's weird to think how old Scooby-Doo sometimes is.
Well, that's probably back when Kiss was still controversial, so now...
Well, yeah, because they wouldn't do it then, but now, it makes kind of sense.
Yeah. Scooby-Doo... Shit. Yeah, let's get ballsy here. Scooby-Doo meets the Street Fighters. Ryu, Ken...
Okay, is that Street Fighter or another
Sonny
70s?
Chiba?
Sonny Chiba. This is the what?
This is Street Fighter 4. We actually get an ending this time.
You know what's another thing I always think is kind of funny about watching Scooby-Doo? When you look at the Scooby-Doo cast, you look at Shaggy, he's really dressed in a total timeless fashion. Because you look at Fred and you look at Daphne, and they just scream 60s right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you look at Shaggy, that look right now, you could see somebody wearing fucking brown pants and a baggy green shirt. Right now. And shaggy hair. I mean, that's a normal look.
I see methed out Shaggy nearly every day at work.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's and you can see Shaggy from 60s to 70s to 80s to 90s to 2000s to 2010s. It is literally a timeless look.
Your standard crust punk that lives at Golden Gate Park looks identical to Shaggy.
Exactly. I mean, hell, even some kids in high school look like Shaggy. Everybody knows there was that Shaggy kid.
There was that Shaggy kid.
But because you look at kind of I thought that's what made Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island a little bit more like an adult movie. Mm-hmm. Is they sort of just dressed them up like they had different outfits on. It wasn't like they were cartoon characters that just had that one solo outfit. Mm-hmm. Where in these latest Scooby-Doo ones, they kind of treat it more cartoony. Because Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island, Scooby's always going to be partially cartoony, and so same Shaggy. But they sort of treat everything else like it's real, this is almost like a live-action movie. But, whatever, that's fine. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But back to Scooby-Doo and Kiss. So they go into this heavy metal world or whatever, and they battle, the bad witch lady or whatever, and, get the rock back and try to save the Kiss people there. There's, this whole world of people that are all, in makeup and dressed like Kiss. This is, one of those planets that Green Lantern lands on once in a while. It's the fuck? The Kiss world.
Green Lantern meets Kiss. Shit.
Yeah, there you go. That could be on this. Well, it's funny, when they get back and everything, they do this thing, they try to explain it, they're because Velma's always none of this stuff's real, it's all fake, I can prove it all, because I'm scientifically smart. I'm like, oh, you fuckers, ha!
Velma's always the nice one, too.
I know.
They made her the bitch in this?
No, they don't make her a bitch, she just does not believe whatsoever in anything that's not scientific.
Oh, okay.
Or, in Scooby-Doo...
She's like, there is no God, Scooby!
Yeah, get used to it.
We're all gonna die and rot in the ground, and that's where it stops. Oh gosh, Velma. No, Scooby, we're all gonna die. Don't care what peace and love bullshit Shaggy gives you. Love isn't real either. It's just chemical reactions.
Yeah, that's pretty much almost how Velma is. And so when they get back, they're like, well, we were in space and all this stuff, and they're like, or Scooby and Shaggy wake up, and they're like, no, the witch lady gassed you and you were hallucinating. So pretty much just saying, no, you guys just really were fucking tripping balls for a while.
That never happened?
Well, they do this thing later on, right when they're about to leave the park at the end, Kiss look at Scooby and Shaggy and everybody's farther off, and then they turn into their powers again, they fly off. Oh, and then they're like, oh, it was real. And so and then Shaggy's like, let's not tell Velma, she wouldn't understand. So I think it's supposed to be real, but they try to sell it up. It's no, you guys were fucking on the floor drooling.
Well, even in the first Scooby-Doo movie, they did make a joke about it being a total about them being getting high once or twice. They didn't, but they made jokes about at some point you see the mystery machine, you smell just smoke coming out of it. They're grilling burgers inside of it.
Yeah, they always change it around. Well, really, because I think the thing is, it's Scooby and Shaggy, they get really high on food.
Yeah. Well, no, I think that's. Really, there's so many stand-up comedians make jokes about this, but you got to be high. We're in a haunted house. Let's find some fucking food.
Yeah, it's definitely true, but it's just kind of funny how they almost totally acknowledged that that's what happened in this movie.
There was what was it? There were Venture Brothers had a great parody of Scooby Doo. They were just a bunch of fucked up travelers and criminals. Fred, he was very dominant towards Thelma, and I don't remember what, not Thelma. Daphne, and I remember what he said to Daphne, but she said, like, I don't know if we should be here, like, Fred. Her name was Daphne, or something like that. It says, like, Daphne, it's not good to talk back. You'll have to go in your box. You don't want to go in your box, do you? You know? And then at some point, like, they meet up with, they bump into the Venture Brothers. At some point, they killed the Venture Brothers in the past, but, like, they're alive, man! They're ghosts! They're fucking ghosts! No, we killed them, man! Because, like, they're clones, so... Uh-huh. And, like, Shaggy is on so many different pills that he hallucinates that Scooby's actually talking to him. And he says, like, dark, demonic shit, like, in, like, a Nazi voice.
Who? Shaggy says it to Scooby?
Scooby talks to Shaggy, like, in a dark, demonic, like, Nazi voice.
So is Shaggy the only one who can hear Scooby?
Yeah, he's, like, tripping balls the whole time. He says, like, come on, Shaggy, if you do it right, I'll give you some some doobie snacks. See him shaking like a bottle of pills. And then as they're scrambling to give it, they have like that like sound effect as they're scrambling to get the pills.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's like, I want to say it's season 2, Venture Brothers. I gotta get caught up on that show.
I know, that's a show, I always think about the show. I'm like, man, I really want to watch that show again. I haven't seen it in such a long time. Mm-hmm. But, what was it going? Scooby Doo, Kiss, something in there. Oh, they even have like a Jonny Quest reference in that thing, though. Like, when they finally debunked who the witch was and so on, which I won't go through the spoilers here, but they pull her apart and they go like, oh, see, and look at her jetpack was made by Quest Industries.
Oh.
And they have the Quest thing written on there and everything like that. So they kind of like debunk it, and I really wish it was a real witch, though. Once again, I like my Scooby Doo when it's really like real stuff. Like, you know what's a great Scooby Doo movie? Scooby Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf from the 80s.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that one?
No.
Oh, it's a great one. There was about 3 of them I can think. There's one where Scooby Doo goes to ghoul school. That was another really good
that one. Yeah.
You remember that one?
I remember the details. I remember the details, but they're just kind of the only like non-dead or ghoulish people in like this school of like it's like a charter school of a bunch of like Frankenstein ghoul like zombies.
Yeah, there was like a vampire girl, there was a mummy girl, there was like a Frankenstein.
And they're the only like.
And they're like hired to be like some type of teacher there. They're a teacher, which is.
God, the afterlife like committee for like education must have very low fucking standards. Like, yeah, we found this pothead and his fucking dog traveling. They used to go around the country, traveling in the van, always looking for food. These guys seem fit to teach children.
Yeah, and then there was also the one too. I can't remember what it's called, but there was a Scooby Doo one where they were on like Transylvania like Speedway. Mm-hmm. I can't fuck was that one called. It was an '80s one too. See, once again, when I come back to like
a bunch of random shit. When
you come back to Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, everything about that one, like, because the fact that it was supposed to be like, hey, this is what we did, like in the '60s or whatever, like we solved this, and then we kind of split up, and it seemed like Scooby and Shaggy went their way. Like that movie kind of comes back around, like, hey, now we're like 35, and we're going back to do another mystery. Which I think, like, nowadays they've kind of brought back, we're like, oh, let's make him young again, not like rebooting it necessarily, but just kind of putting him in like a
007 in it, like maybe no one will notice.
Yeah, one of those kind of things. Okay, but I gotta tell you about, there's this trailer before the Scooby, which I've learned these Hanna Barbera Warner Brothers movies now have some fucking trailers of movies going like, I never asked for this, I don't think anyone asked for this, I don't know why we'd even want this. Sort of like that Flintstones and like the wrestling one. It just seemed too out there. I mean,
yeah.
This one seems like the Flintstones WWE one seems like a more watchable movie.
Fill my tea. Let me get ready for this. Okay.
Okay.
I got.
You almost have to sit down for this idea. All right, because I'll tell you this: it's 2 properties that by themselves you go, hell yeah, I love these things. These things are great.
Okay, I'm going to take a few shots in the dark.
But combined together, they don't make any sense whatsoever being in the same world.
Before I sit down, I'm going to make a couple of shots in the dark, okay?
Okay.
Captain Caveman meets, you said Hanna Barbera.
It's all Hanna Barbera stuff.
Okay.
Well, Warner Bros. Owns Hanna Barbera now, so.
Captain Caveman meets Jonny Quest.
You got one of them correct.
Jonny Quest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you'd be like, Captain Caveman! They're bringing him back!
I miss Captain Caveman.
I do too. That was a great one. No, it's Jonny Quest.
Jonny Quest.
What's like the original Hanna Barbera show?
Oh fuck. Like Top Cat.
Before Top Cat.
Not Flintstones or Jetsons.
Nope. Didn't play on TV. Played in theaters. That's how original it is.
Top Cat. Not Top Cat. Yogi Bear.
Nope.
All right.
Because those are all TV shows. It was produced. Okay, it's an
Wait. Is it the
produced-
Aristocats?
close, but that's Disney.
I thought Aristocats is a Warner Brothers one. I think Oliver and Company is the.
No, Aristocats that's the one where it's like everybody wants to be a cat.
I want to say there's like a Warner Brothers
Disney.
cat movie. There's a Warner Brothers cat movie that seems very trying.
Well, it's got a cat in it.
Okay, I don't know. Just go. Wait, Felix the cat?
No.
That's Fleischer. That's right.
It's got a cat in it. It's like a Looney Tunes one, but it's Hanna Barbera's Looney Tunes version of it. The cat is gray.
Oh, wait, not Tom. No,
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry was MGM, weren't they?
Yeah, but that's Hanna Barbera. That's the one they created though. Hanna Barbera or Joseph Barbera and Steve. I don't know what the other guy's name is. Steve Hanna.
They created them. And
That's like before they had like their Hanna Barbera company. For MGM, that's their stuff. So there was literally, it's a Jonny Quest meets Tom and Jerry show. In the entire trailer, I could not wrap my head around it because Jonny Quest is the most realistic cartoon show you get. There is nothing cartoony about it whatsoever except for Bandit. He's like the only thing that's kind of cartoony in it. But he's not even that cartoony, you know what I mean? He just more does like the things like, ha ha, Bandit's being a fucking idiot again. Ha 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 ha. End of episode.
As it always end with their hands on their hips, like Bandit chasing his tail, like stupid fucking dog.
I like when they played Hanna-Barbera in syndication in the 70s. The show ran for like 26 minutes in the 60s. Mm-hmm. I think, dude, also like that long ass title sequence. It's like 3 minutes long. Yeah. Where it's like everybody's on the plane just like looking.
The walking eye. It could not look more fucking bored. Just like Johnny just looking down at the plane, just looking out like. Yeah, there's Indonesia. Fuck it.
Seen it 300 times.
Yeah, nobody looks like they're having fun. You see, like...
Ray's is kind of... He's like, I'm flying the plane. At least I gotta do something.
You see, like, Dr. Banner, arms crossed, just looking around... Yeah, Dr.
See, that crossover would make sense. The Hulk meets fucking, like, Jonny Quest.
Yeah.
That makes those two scientists getting together, to solve, a monster mystery.
That makes sense.
Tom and Jerry, though, it's like... Tom and Jerry is probably the most Looney Tunes-ish. If we're going to say Looney Tunes is the top of the chart of like what a cartoon is. I mean, that's up there with that. I mean, by being wacky and kind of out there and not totally realistic. If Jonny Quest was on the other spectrum, where it's just as realistic as you can get. I mean, I know they got monsters and alien stuff in there, but I mean, like, it treats it so seriously.
It's like, look, they would be kids on an adventure, but they're not having fun. Someone's going to fucking die.
Yeah, people did die. It was speaking of the 70s, going back, when they edited it out, it was funny. The things they started cutting, they cut some of the violence in Jonny Quest. They trimmed down the title sequence, but they also just said, like, let's just cut some of the Bandit stuff out. Like, that stuff just is filler. We all know it.
Well, I just remember the title sequence, just like, even as a kid, it was just kind of like, I don't know what it is, like, unsettling might not be the right word, like, off-putting. Because they'd be like, we're going on an adventure! And they'd just be like, there's Jonny Quest, looking out a window, could not look more bored. There's Haji, he looks equally as bored. Dr. Quest
you think Haji would be just out of his mind, ecstatic for the fact of where he came from, off the streets, sitting in underwear, trying to make a snake dance for money. Who knows what happened if you gave him a tip?
Yeah. And now there's Dr. Quest just looking like, I'm getting called on this bullshit again. I won't fucking be here.
I hate being the best scientist in the world.
Now I'm just thinking about that, just like, how the fuck? I'm just thinking back on that opening, even on the real Adventures of Jonny Quest, because that
one's getting more like dun 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 dun.
That opening was like, you're in for some shit.
This world is gonna be so cool because you're in the '90s and it's so fucking awesome.
It's like Tron, but you never watched Tron because that was the '80s,
and that was actually technically a cartoon show where this is all CG.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like I feel like whoever they like, you know what, Tron. These kids aren't going to know what fucking Tron is. It's going to blow their fucking minds.
Because it technically was. Because it was one's like, I didn't watch Tron until much later when I was a little bit older.
Yeah. Because it was one of those movies that Disney buried. Like, no, make it go away. It was a failure. Then it had this big cult following. And then you saw these things actually pulling from Tron, like Matrix, like Jonny Quest, and then like maybe even Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if the book came out first, but yeah. So I think that right there, once you actually saw it was all in 3D, like, oh my god, this blew my fucking mind.
Yeah. But now just try to picture Tom and Jerry in all their crazy antics. and Johnny Quest. The only thing I can picture is just like Dr. Quest, like, I captured this strange cat and mouse, and I have them in this secured location where we're going to study them and why they act this way, and how the cat's always chasing the mouse but can't seem to ever get him.
It's like it's like a death trap, the cat and the mouse that they threw, and like Dr. Quest is like the evil scientist overlooking it. Like, but Dad, we gotta let him go. Get out of here, boy. This is for science.
We can't just trap this poor cat.
This cat look at its brainwaves. This is too smart for an average cat, as well as the mouse. We must learn from it. We can create an army of this cat that will not let us use humans.
And whatever you do, don't let Haji have it. His people eat cats. But Dr. Quest, my people don't eat. Shut the fuck up, Haji. Oh, be grateful you're not sitting in your shorts shitting yourself, looking for the next blowjob so you can get a meal.
Oh, I don't miss those days. Yeah, I know, and you guess what? You're one cunt hair away from getting back on the Quest jet, heading back to fucking India, alright? If you even so much look at me the wrong fucking way. Wrong fucking way!
No, Dr. Quest, don't beat me.
Like Banner, Bannon was just there, Race Bannon's just like... He's the boss. They're like my boys, and I want to stop. He has like this inner struggle. Like he wants to help the boys because he loves the boys and like his sons. But
that's the best paying job he's got.
Yeah,
it's really kind of easy compared to other things he's done.
He says like the boys got the cat and the mouse out. Bannon, get them. But Doctor, maybe there's another way. There's no other way. Get them!
Race, you gotta capture that cat and mouse back. I must study them. Science rules. Science rules. Science. 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 Yeah, come on, Race, you got the science.
That's another part they cut out.
It's just one of those ones, I look at that trailer, and it's just like, it just doesn't... Is Hanna Barbera just doing the thing where they're like, okay...
Shit, it's like, I mean, I love Johnny Quest, but it's like, I feel like everyone's forgetting.
Well,
no one knows
this Johnny Quest meets Scooby Doo makes it, I can see that.
That happened, didn't it?
Not that I know of.
Oh, I thought I would.
I never saw, because there's pretty much about 3 generations of Johnny Quest, generally. Mm-hmm. You got original 60s, you got the new Adventures of Johnny Quest in the 80s, and then you got the real Adventures of Johnny Quest in the 90s.
Then he went away.
And then he's been pretty much gone since then.
Mm-hmm.
So... This technically is the first Johnny Quest movie, or at least first Johnny Quest something, since like 95.
If you really want to get technical as far as just inspirations, I mean, Venture Brothers.
Yeah, Venture Brothers is kind of like saying like, hey, here's the 4th Johnny Quest show, but since we don't own Johnny Quest, we kind of switched it around.
In Johnny Quest, Brace Bannon and Haji are actually even in the show, but they beat around the bush.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like Venture Brothers is like the perfect example of somebody who really loved Johnny Quest, and probably if you asked those guys and they said, hey, if somebody said, hey, you want to make Johnny Quest, they would have been like, hell yeah, we would have been there in seconds. But since we can't make Johnny Quest, we have this instead. And it's pretty much our Johnny Quest show.
Yeah. And it just seems so weird because they seem to be pulling all these scenes because I think they're almost... I almost feel like they're pulling out all the big guns and just like throwing them out there and saying, well, hopefully they'll watch them. Like, because parents are now people, it's weird saying this, people our age are parents now. And it's kind of like we kind of grew up on it because our parents grew up on it and said, oh, watch this shit, you know? Now I think now it's kind of like, I guess their last chance to actually kind of supply themselves for a next generation of viewers for this kind of thing.
Well, I think that's what they're doing. Because, you look at the Kiss Scooby Doo one, that reminds me of a perfect one where it's like, a parent be like, I love Kiss. And I love Scooby Doo. This would be perfect for my kid. Mm-hmm. It's 2 things I really like. This is a good introduction for him. So that movie makes total sense because you think about it, like Kiss and Scooby Doo are both like 50 years old as far as how long they've been around for, which is mind blowing to sort of think about. But
yeah, I guess it's just I guess it just seems so weird that they're just pulling out all these random. I like Johnny Quest. But
you could almost have a 70-year-old person be like saying like, "Yo, Kiss and Scooby Doo, that's what I grew up on." Mm-hmm. Because that stuff could have came out when they were like in their teens.
Well, you heard who's doing apparently the live action Johnny Quest movie now, right?
Who's directing this now?
Robert Rodriguez.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, that sounds kind of familiar. Did we mention this on the podcast?
I don't think we mentioned it.
And I get really excited like that, and then once again, 3 podcasts later, I do the same reaction.
I don't know. I don't think we talked on the podcast, but I believe Rodriguez is doing that. Which if he does do it, I hope he's doing
it more. I heard that on somebody else's podcast.
I'm hoping he's doing maybe like a more like PG version of his movies, or even like a PG-13 and not so much Spy Kids.
I think it was on Hollywood Babylon. I heard that.
I think I heard that
because that makes sense because somebody said it's like, oh well, he did Spy Kids, so it makes total sense. I just hope that he takes it more serious than Spy Kids, if that makes any sense.
Well, Spy Kids 1's all right,
Yeah, I think it's just the farther Spy Kids kind of went.
Got more silly. It's just, all his kids' movies are just kind of like him just trying out like some effect or some little thing, just a half-ass story just to work it around. Like, this will make, here's a birthday gift for all my kids. Okay, go away.
That's a little what the Spy Kids actually come out. They remind me of like the experimental films. Almost, you know how like when Robert Rodriguez talks in his book, how like he was going to make El Mariachi, but there was going to be 3 movies he was going to make, and his goal was like, by the time I make 3 movies, I will totally know how to make a movie. Of course, he only made the first one. Said, I guess I know how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Fuck the other 3. Like that. Whoever had that idea that you write a novel and then burn it, and then write another novel and that's your first one. Like, clearly, guys, just write the first one and that will probably be it.
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. But I think he would be the perfect person. And as long as I just think as he kept it as Johnny Quest possible, I don't see how he couldn't. But I'm saying this is my favorite director, and I'm like questioning him. I feel bad doing that.
Well, he's your favorite director when he's doing action stuff, not when he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like,
and it is a kid-friendly property, so I'm wondering, are they gonna PG-13 it up, which that'd be cool. And even if they do make it PG, just make it don't make it Spy Kids. Make it a little bit more.
Well, what they should do is.
Make it more Indiana Jones than Spy Kids.
And they should really make it the Real Adventures. I know that sounds like blasphemy to probably like an older person. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I love the original Johnny Quest, and I think that works for its time period. But I think this, like the Real Adventures Johnny Quest, just make Haji and Johnny like 19, 18. You look at these movies. You got things like Hunger Games and like the Maze Runner, and these are all popular. Well, make it like that age range, and then you got your 2 older people in there, and then make sure you then have Jessie in there too. She came in the New Adventures of Johnny Quest. I want to say. Mm-hmm. I think no.
I want to say she came in like the last episode. Someone told me she came in the last few episodes of that, and then she carried over into the Real Adventures.
Yeah, maybe that's...
I primarily watch the Real Adventures. I see the other ones every once in a while.
Yeah, the New Adventures is the only one I've never seen all the episodes of that one. Because that one's like the really rare Johnny Quest shows, that 80s one. Mm-hmm. But like that's the thing is if you just have Johnny, Jessie, Haji, there's your trio, just like classic Japanese anime. You got Johnny as your main character, you got Haji as your smart character, and then you got Jessie as the girl, just like Cowboy Bebop. That's always how it is. Like you can never really define the woman. You can only define the woman as like it's the woman female. Because it's always like you got kind of like your main character,
Samurai Champloo,
and then there's Samurai Champloo. Then you got because in Samurai Champloo you got the main guy. Sometimes the main guy's a little bit reckless, sort of like a Spike even.
Mugen.
Too. Yeah, and then you always have your intelligent one,
Jin.
Yeah, Jin. And things like that, and then there's always just the woman.
Fu, the girl.
There's just the
She's
woman.
the woman.
It does not have like a defining character.
No, I think they gave her some character.
I'm not saying she does it, but like in that 3 type, it doesn't.
Just the woman.
Yeah, it's just the woman. She can go any direction. It's like Pokemon's the same way too.
Yeah,
You Brock's the intelligent one.
Similar color scheme and kind of look to each character too.
But I always feel you see it in animes a lot, and it's a perfect one. Dude, there's your Johnny Quest right there, and then you throw Race and Dr. Quest in there. There's your adult characters. And then you can throw a band in there. Just don't make him wacky. Don't make him. Hopefully he's not, dog. Just don't make him CG. Just make him a regular dog.
They didn't make him wacky and goofy in the Real Adventures.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm a fucking badass pit bull. He looked like the fucking pit bull off like the mug root beer.
Yeah, like he was that guy's son.
Well, that thing for a while, that dog. Well, they changed it, but for a while he looked all kind of like, I don't give a shit if you got to drive. Drink this. Could be like holding up like a mug. But then later. They changed the art on it. He was like kind of rolling his eyes up, like, yeah, I used to have my wild days, but I found Christ, and I'm a lot more chill.
I'm not trying to get people to drink root beer and drive.
Changed man or dog, however you want to look at it.
It just says drink, and it's like in parentheses root, and then beer and drive.
No, like root is very small font. Beer is in huge font.
Drink beer and drive. Mug, I don't know about this ad campaign. A lot of people see this, and then they just grab a pack of Budweiser and just start hitting the road.
They walk right past ours and go straight for the Budweiser. Don't worry, you're catch on.
The guy's like, you're right. That dog is totally correct. Wow, I was going to get a soda? I'm a fucking idiot. Drink beer and drive. That's the right idea. I couldn't even think of it on my own.
Thank you, mug root beer dog.
He's like, thank you.
Puts his hand up to the poster of the
stand there. Grabs a 36 pack of Budweiser. He's already drank 3 beers by the time he's got to the counter. So are you driving? Hell yes I am. That dog told me to.
That dog's on his shit. Look at him.
Drink beer and drive. That's the best thing. I was supposed to drink root beer and drive. No. Don't mind the small print. what were we talking about? Oh, Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
But
It's a very
still,
retro episode today.
that could be a sweet movie. And I think Robert Rodriguez, I technically think he actually is the perfect director. You know? I think he'd be better than... I think he would have the right mindset, because maybe he would have the real adventures in mind.
Well, now, I mean, I can kind of see them... It's a bigger possibility of happening. Because, I feel like when you start to see... I see it a lot more in comics, but it makes sense for the other way. Like, they started putting Deadpool in a lot more stuff. We got the Deadpool movie coming out.
Yeah.
They started putting, like Deadshot and Deathstroke in a lot of stuff.
Because they're all the D's.
And they're all, yep, that's a good point. And they're all getting up to their own movies, like the Suicide Squad. Deathstroke's going to be in the TV show. He's in the TV show
Arrow. He's in the Arrow.
Yeah, and then they're also doing the Deathstroke movie down the line. So they're just trying to prepare people for like that character. So I can see them doing something similar with like Johnny Quest. Just like prepare kids. Because even before the Avengers movie came out, they had like a different Avengers TV shows. So by the time the movie came out, kids would be like, oh, the Avengers, Mm-hmm. So I think I think they're probably doing that with Johnny Quest, trying to get people amped up, like trying to present it to kids. So by the time the movie comes out, they give a shit.
Yeah. And I'd love to see another Johnny Quest show come out. It'd be nice if it was in the real... Once again, I go to the real Johnny Quest, I think that would...
Did this one look really silly?
No, Johnny and Haji look normal. They look like they're the 60s versions, but like... They look totally normal. It was just Tom and Jerry. It was just that weird mix of like Tom and Jerry was wacky and cartoony, and Johnny and Haji were normal.
Can you tell what the story was going on from the...
Not really. It's more just like... Started off as like a Tom and Jerry thing. It's just like, guess what? And then it was like in the title, it was like, these two worlds are going to collide. And then it showed Johnny and Haji. I'm like, what the fuck? I should almost show it to you afterwards. It's just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's just one of those ones. It just reminds me of one of those ones like, did anybody ask
Get ready to have your mind fucking blown. Yeah. Hanna Barbera and Warner Bros. Presents Tom and Jerry meets Johnny Quest.
Yeah, there's even a pause in the announcement.
I forgot what the fuck we were talking about for a minute. That was real.
But you know what I'd like to see more than anything else is, can I just get a brand new Johnny Quest movie, like a cartoon one, like just Johnny Quest?
You are.
Yeah, but without Tom and Jerry. And no wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, if there's a Tom and Jerry movie, it's fine. I just think the combination is just so...
Did you ever see, like, the 90s? Like, it's so weird, because you think this would have got, like, a lot of release, but did you ever... It was, like, I think it was limited. Did you ever see the Tom and Jerry 90s movie that went to theaters?
Now, is that the animated one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I remember that actually being pretty good.
I remember it was kind of dramatic and kind of... Well,
that's what I mean, yeah.
They were talking... There was actually singing in the movie. Like, there wasn't a lot of different, like, 90s movies, but Tom and Jerry actually talked, which is kind of... threw you off. When you're first watching the movie, you're like, all right, yeah, Tom and Jerry, the usual stuff. Like, they're fucking talking?
Yeah.
I remember that blew my mind. And then at some point, like, it's like they're trying to save an orphan girl or whatever. And I remember I tried to get dramatic. I don't know how it would hold up today. But I remember, like, seeing, like, one commercial for it and then never seeing anything for it again. And then, like, it was in the very back of, like, Blockbuster, like, of all this stuff that, just, like, one copy, very far back. Like, you think it's Tom and Jerry. You think it would have got a lot, like, much bigger release or something.
Well, I remember seeing it when it came on Cartoon Network, because I don't think it came to... In Sonora, they had the Cinema 5 at that time, so there's only 5 movies, so it was hard sometimes to get those extra movies in there. You think it's hard nowadays to get, like, an independent, like, secondary movie feature. Back then, it was even harder.
Well, you don't think it would be independent. You think it would
Well, yeah, not independent, but you know what I mean, like the...
Yeah, some smaller movie, but you think that would be a big one. You don't think it would be a small one. You think it would be a pretty big movie, like Space Jam or something.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. What are your thoughts on Space Jam 2?
Is that actually happening?
Apparently, I heard it...
Is it LeBron James?
Yeah, that's
in the Looney Tunes?
Uh-huh.
I want to say... my gut reaction...
Do it.
No. My gut... Well, first off, a little shout-out to our friends at Painted Black Podcast. I've seen Space Jam. Yeah. Like that bit. They had this old bit of just kind of like... Someone says, like, I got cancer. I've seen Space Jam. My wife died the other day, but, you've seen Space Jam. You know how it goes. So just these things have nothing to do with anything. But, I don't know. That right there, I want to say my gut reaction, just the autopilot response, better late than never. But I'm like, maybe it should never happen. I don't know if it really needs to happen.
Like, Space Jam 1, it was the 90s. That is like a perfect time for something like that. We're not in the 90s anymore. We're in the 2010s. So, I mean, I say make it. Why not? Like, I'm not
saying
against like
shoot it
not
down.
making things. I feel like we should be grateful we get sequels to stuff than living in a world where we don't get sequels and we only get one movie and we have to be grateful for that and we have to watch it a bunch of times. Like that fucking kid in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Be grateful that that's not your world. So, like, I'm not against making anything extra, but it is one of those ones, like, as long as it's not like a full-on remake. I'd rather have it be like sort of like a semi-sequel.
How do you make it like the Monstars are back again?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, make it something where it's not the Monstars anymore. It's somebody else.
The Monstars are like the ones that stayed behind. Like, can we be Looney Tunes? Like, they're there still. Maybe
like tie it into the original.
Because I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw it, that was like one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna lie. I absolutely love that movie.
I still think it's actually maybe it's just because I'm a '90s kid and I really enjoyed that because I had a birthday experience by watching that movie. It came out on my birthday in 1996 or whenever it came out. Went there with some friends. Fucking like the theater was jam packed. They couldn't even have seats. Had to sit on the floor. That's like how packed it was. Yeah, like when was the last time you saw a theater where you had to sit on the floor?
I don't think I ever have.
You never have? I've done it a handful of times.
Peasant.
When I saw Gangs in New York, I had to sit on the floor. And you know how long that movie is.
It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. But
I don't know. I didn't know that was actually happening. I thought that was just kind of a joke or a rumor.
I thought it was too, but then I keep hearing it more and more.
I almost feel like maybe now it could. I mean, well, I don't know how they're going about it. I think it could be something good, possibly, if you get the right directors for it, and like, that's with anything. But I'm saying that because you get something like Lego or like 21 Jump Street, both mean same guys right here. But like these people that know are like they're a little self-aware. The movie is self-aware of how ridiculous it is and how over the top it is. Yet they're still creative enough to find the jokes in it and still tell a story. Space Jam 1 was just to print money. That's all it was there for. It was just there to print money. But now since there's all like this, since we live in this ironic age, like fucking Space Jam, fucking Michael Jordan, Looney Tunes, because back then it was just like, I don't believe this. And all the kids like, I love it. But
when you're a kid, it's just like, it literally is those things. Like, I love Looney Tunes and I love Michael Jordan. Because Michael Jordan was like the biggest kid hero. It transcended beyond like just even being a sports icon, just being like an everyday kid icon. I don't know how.
For like a good, like, since maybe a year, I wanted to play basketball after I saw Space Jam.
Yeah, you thought it was possible.
It's like Michael Jordan can do anything because he was friends with the Looney Tunes, So I was a fat white kid who just wanted to play basketball for a little while, just because for a year that was my lifelong dream.
And then you realize you're more like Trey Parker, and Matt Stone in basketball, where you're like, well, I'm pretty good at this if I don't have to like run, dribble, or move or jump.
Pretty much, yeah. So. Anyways, well, I'm never going to meet Bugs Bunny, so fuck it. He can't teach me how to play basketball. Michael Jordan's not going to take time out of his day to teach me how to play basketball. Fuck this.
Movies are a lie.
Flip the table over, start, like, Ryan, what are you doing? Like, movies are a lie. I'm never going to meet Bugs Bunny. Oh, this again.
Oh, great. Now he's going to go to his room and sulk for hours.
Fuck.
Light a candle for the candles all around Michael Jordan poster.
Poster of him, Bugs Bunny. Well, that movie came out of, there's a Nike ad with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan. And that's what spawned it, because I got such a good response.
Yeah.
And I think now maybe you could possibly pull it off, like in this ironic age, and kind of wink, wink, we know how ridiculous this is, where that movie, it didn't really care. It was just making money. It's like, fuck you, parents. We already got your money. Your kids are going to want to go and buy toys.
It's one of those, like, I still think it's an enjoyable movie, too. Like, I like it. Like, I still think it's fun. I think as far as a kid's movie goes, it's kind of a much better one. Like, if you had to show a kid nowadays movie, show them Space Jam. Like, that's like, it's a good, wholesome movie. Got all, like, classic characters in it. It's not like there's anything bad in there. It's not like, hey, kids, spend money. Like, what are they going to do? Go and buy Space Jam merchandise? Where are they going to find that nowadays?
I think that I do miss my Michael Jordan cup.
I know. Do you have that cup still?
I don't know what happened to it. I got to find it somewhere. But there was the what was it? I will say there's a lot, because Bill Murray has a cameo in that movie a few times, and actually he has a full-on role. It just kind of comes in a few spots.
Yeah, he's great in that part.
I'll say, though, that he has like a fantastic line in that movie, which I almost assumed that this part had to be improvised, because this is almost too clever for the rest of the writing in the movie. He says a line like, why can't I play basketball? I don't know, just depends you got the stuff or not. He says like, it's because I'm white, isn't it? He says, Larry's white. Like, Larry's not white. Larry's clear.
I love that line. they also got Wayne Knight's in the movie too. There's a lot good going on. I'm not really. Once again, I'm not opposed to a new space. Because here's the thing: when was the last Looney Tunes movie, or Looney Tunes anything in general?
Well,
it's been a while.
the last Looney Tunes movie wasn't that good. That was, I mean, it could be a good one. Last one was like Looney Tunes Back in Action, that Brendan Fraser movie.
Oh yeah, another one of Brendan Fraser in CG land.
Well, that was actually, the movie was all like, for the most part, all like live action, just like Looney Tunes traveling around with them.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't that good though. It was there was a part where Michael Jordan they made a reference to Space Jam because there's a part where you find out one of the bad guys was someone else all along. The whole Looney Tunes like zip down the suit thing. He says, "Who are you really?" Zips down. It's like one of the Looney Tunes. Zips down again. It's like Michael Jordan. He's like, "We're gonna do some drills." Zips down again. It's someone else. It's like 3 or 4 of them.
Huh.
And it wasn't that good of a movie, but
You know what? If they do a Space Jam 2, I think they should throw Michael Jordan back into it. Why not?
He's
He's going to
gotta
be the
do a
main
cameo.
character, but like make him like sort of like even more than a cameo. You know, be a assisting character or something. But that'd be pretty sweet.
I can see it, something like that maybe. I know that movie, there was one part that almost seems like too real and too intense for the rest of the movie because you feel so bad for him. I want to say like Charles Barkley. There's a part when they have that montage of all the different basketball players trying to like get their powers back or trying to like play basketball but they just can't.
Yeah.
And then like they got that cover of Basketball Jones over. And then Charles Barkley sees some kids playing basketball and like, "Oh, you're Charles Barkley, come play with us." Like, "No, kids, oh, come on, come play with us." And he goes in there, and this part's actually even hard to watch. It's not meant to be funny. It's like meant
It's
to,
really sad.
he's playing. He says like, "Come on, what is that? You're not Charles Barkley. You're just some wannabe that looks like him. No, get out of here. Go, get out, go!" Just start yelling at him. All these like kids.
Just like yeah. This is almost the start of like another. You can almost have a movie in a movie. This is like the wrestler version of like with Charles Barkley. It's like I used to be somebody. I used to be able to play, and then my powers were stolen from me from monsters. It's okay, Charles. We know what that.
With the help of Michael Jordan.
It's like, no, they're real cartoon monsters. Okay, Charlie. It's okay what you make out.
It's like an art picture. Like we see what's going on. Like Space Jam 2. What was going on back in the beginning? You see like the aliens like in the like the trench coat. Like, "Whoa, we're gonna get them up. We're gonna get the like powers. Woo!" It's all
And then
silly
it just
and
turns
fun.
into this like dark drama where Charles Barkley's just trying to get back to his game.
He's like looking in the mirror later that night. He's like, "You're Charles Barkley, man. Charles Barkley." Starts punching the mirror. "You're Charles Barkley."
It's just in the trailer. It's just got that one trick pony by Bruce Springsteen's in the wrestling.
You ever see one trick pony snapping the way? You see me? This girl, 4'0", blocked my shot. You see me? Going down, man. I lost my powers to aliens. You see me?
He just wakes up in the back of a van like a nightmare, and there's just a bunch of kids pounding on his door. He's like, "Go away! Go away!"
She's like, "What's gonna happen?" Like, "I don't know. But something." Looking over her shoulder, like, Space Jam 2, the Charles Barkley story.
Just that would be. You want to make a Space Jam movie? Sell it in a completely different way of something that like that's what
You get your standard Space Jam crowd for the kids. You get your artsy Space Jam crowd right there.
Well, you know the kids are like after about the first like 10 minutes of the movie, like, and it's been on for about 40 minutes now. They're like, "Are the Looney Tunes coming back?" No, shut up. This is getting intense here. Like, why is that man sitting on the couch? That's Charles Barkley. God damn it, he's a legend.
He's like shooting up.
Because the kids are probably like, "Who the fuck is Charles Barkley?" They're just like, "Why? What's he doing?" He's like, "He's trying to shoot steroids. It's the only way he can get his basketball powers back. He doesn't know any better."
He keeps on watching these like kids who are playing basketball from a distance, like
In his van, like,
trying to study them, trying to like practice, like how do they
police officer rolls by, like, "Sir, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just studying basketball." "Yeah, I know what you're studying."
"You're Charles Barkley. You used to be somebody once." "So, officer, I'm just taking down notes for my next game." Like, "You don't got a career no more, Barkley. Go home. Go. Like, Basketball Jones starts to play over it.
Basketball Jones.
Oh, baby. Ooh.
Speaking of, I gotta throw this out there. Somehow, some way, I don't know what we're gonna say on the podcast, but on our episode of when we talked about Aquaman movie, the DCU one, and then Jupiter Ascending. This is gonna sound so weird. Somehow, some way, on YouTube, we got a copyright infringement notice from somebody, and I don't know what that's from.
Did we?
Literally blocked my entire YouTube account. I can't even fucking watch. I went to watch the fucking 007 Spectre trailer. I couldn't watch it. It was like 3 days ago. It literally said,
how do we get... We're just talking. How do you get it?
That's what I said to him. Like, what the fuck? The only thing I can maybe think of it is that there's the Paint It Black, and they use a song in that.
Oh.
And I started wondering, I was like, oh, fuck. Because the thing is, it was, like, real threatening. Like, fucking YouTube's, like, they put the thing, they're like, yo, you gotta go fucking copyright school and learn how to be a fucking man. And, like, I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, wouldn't even explain... Like,
we can't access anything on our YouTube account right
not at the moment. I mean, you can still watch our videos and stuff, excluding that one, but you can't. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? So I sent him a letter, too. I was like, dude, don't fucking treat me like shit, and, like, just, you know, it almost felt like they're accusing me, like, you fucking murdered somebody here on YouTube. We're investigating it now. You're part of it. You're one of the usual suspects. And I was just like, what the hell is this bullshit? Fucking Google once again, like, dicking up. And I was just like, dude, what the hell is going on? Like, tell me. And, like, one, who sent their, like, who filed this claim against us for copyright infringement on a fucking podcast?
Yeah.
Like, we did something terrible and heinous.
All we were doing was talking like, you spoiled Jupiter Ascending and
the Wachowski brother and sister. They're the ones that filed the lawsuit against you. We're like, we talked a positive review!
One of the only positive reviews that movie got.
Yeah, we're the people who thought that movie was great. Like, what are you bringing it down for? Like, I can't figure it out. The only thing I can think is that, because on the... I don't want to pigeonhole Paint It Black here, but I'm thinking...
Fucking Lou, Pete, Brian, you fucked us!
Well, the word for two, I'm like, oh crap, now that's on all the other podcasts too. I'm like, no!
I'm just joking, guys.
I know. So, if you guys are wondering why I'm not going to put your ad on the next 2 episodes, it's because until I figure out what's going on here. But do you remember that episode? We didn't play anything else on there.
Well, I know they're doing that song by Whoa, she got that's in their
that's
ad.
the only person I can think is that person for some reason, which I guess that's if he's listened to our podcast, because you have to listen.
Or his people.
His 50 minutes into it. It's not like it's going to appear right at the beginning, even though I know they have computers that kind of like detect these things. But
yeah.
I was just wondering. I was just like, what the? Do you remember anything? I know I'm talking about this on a podcast. Like it seems like something like personal, but.
I didn't think that was that good of an episode, so I tried to block that one out of my mind. But I mean, it could be. I would imagine it's the ad, which I know they got a new ad where it doesn't have that song, where it's like basically copyright free and all that kind of stuff.
Nice. Well, we need to get that probably from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just kind of wondering that. I was like, wait a second. The only thing I think is, I remember there was one episode where you played a couple songs, and I even brought up like, don't put those on there. We gotta stop that because YouTube will fuck us over. And I don't know, like the only one, the first thing I thought was like, was that the episode? Did I literally like say that's like YouTube's gonna focus over because like that, and it actually happens?
But not that episode.
Well, I don't know if it was that episode because I need to go back and listen to it. I remember like I was gonna listen to it like on my phone. I was like, oh, well, I can't.
Well, it's all staticky, so it's almost through a filter. You think what I mean? People are talking about trying to narrow it down on air. Like, what do you think it is, folks? Leave a comment.
Yeah, it's like one of those ones. But it's just one of those ones. It's like fucking Google once again.
Being a bitch.
They are just one of those ones. Like it's one of those sites that's like you're kind of forced to use YouTube this day and age. Like you can't really get around. It's kind of like I love Vimeo. I think that's like the best video site out there. But here's the thing: nobody's fucking on Vimeo except for people that put videos on Vimeo. Mm-hmm. But it's a fantastic site, and it's even older than YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it's also like Newgrounds. Newgrounds is another great site too, and it's got like a great audience on there. But there's only so many people on Newgrounds. Once again, you're still forced to almost put your stuff on there.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those, I just don't want to go to this copyright school because it just sounds like, I hate that when they do things like that. Like, they treat you like you're a fucking 10-year-old kid doesn't know any better. Yeah. Like, okay, Billy, you did something wrong.
You have to pay to go to copyright school?
No, like, it's not going to send me fucking back east to copyright school and...
Send you back east? No, I thought they just give you a little online survey or something.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's going to be like, now, what is bad? No, is putting an Elvis Presley song on your video or putting a song you recorded yourself, which is the good one. It's going to be something like that.
Is it going to be some bullshit like there was... How we get around the... We should probably talk about this off the air.
Well, then they talk about something like, too, they're like, oh, to get out of it, like, you can file, like, a counter thing. Well, I'm like, I just want to know. Like, could you at least tell me the details? Like, don't tell me I have to go fucking to, like, some school without telling me why.
Yeah.
You can't just slap that up there. It's like...
Fuck Google. I know we put our shit on their shit, but fuck them.
I know, I've been saying fuck Google for a long time, but at the same time, I gotta still use them and sell them, but they're just trying to screw us old YouTube users off. Yeah. But I don't know what it is. It's just when like their site's so not helpful. You click learn more, and it's just like doesn't tell you where to go to file a claim. No, it doesn't give you the link. It just gives you some information, and then it asks the bottom like, "Was this helpful?" I'm like, "No, this is not helpful whatsoever." But I'm just trying to figure out what that is because I can't upload this podcast right now to YouTube at least because of that. And the main thing that makes YouTube nice, though, if anything, is I call it the dumping grounds, because I can put as much crap on there, and they never charge me a fee for having, 50 gigs worth of stuff, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Where, on the other podcast sites, you can only have so many episodes on there unless you're, made out of millions of dollars.
YouTube looks to fuck you the best they can.
I know, but damn it. Well, to not end on a negative note, give us one more positive thing, Dunigan. One more positive thing.
You coming to me for positivity?
Well, fuck, I provide the rest of this positivity to negativity to back to positivity
all right,
to back
well,
to negativity.
Let me think. What's something positive? Well, I heard that, this might be bad, but I heard they might be doing a theatrical Lego Batman movie starring Will Arnett.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I did hear something about that, too. And it's one of those ones, that just sounds awesome.
Because I loved his interpretation of Batman. Just he's kind of a douchebag, full of himself, loves himself, and he knows he's the baddest guy in the room. So I think that's kind of a funny way to go about it. And if it's in the same style as the Lego movie, that'd be cool. Only all Batman characters.
If everyth's Batman, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Perfect place to leave off on. Keep it Batman.
Keep it Batman.
But till then, go check out oldmanorange.com. There you can watch everything except for that Aquaman episode. But check out cartoons, animations, live action videos, music videos, and so on. Go to Twitter, and you can find me there at Spencer S. Holmes, and you can find Dunigan at Dunigan Ryan. And then I've been doing some kind of, if you ever want to support the podcast anyway, you can always use our Amazon links on the site. But I've been doing a little other way of doing it too. I just kind of stole this from somebody else's podcast, but I thought it was a great enough idea. In the information panel of the episode, I put a couple links to some Amazon stuff. If something, either we talked about a DVD or a movie or a game or a comic or something, I'll put little links in there. And if you go there and say, hey, I want to buy, let's say, Scooby Doo Kiss, you can go through that link, buy that, and it'll send a little something our way. Kind of a little extra way to support it. Doesn't cost you any extra. And hell, you can use that link and go, fuck, I'm not buying Scooby Doo Kiss, but I was going to go pre-order Fallout 4. You can do that too. Why not?
Get that pip.
All you got to do is use that link. But yeah. Till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And we'll see you some other time. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. If you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.